All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Saturday morning. It is a balmy 9 degrees in Duluth right now. It is with an expected low of -9 tonight. Feeling much better today after my dental. I had a tooth pulled on Tuesday night about 6 o'clock, and I took Wednesday off of work and stayed home and recuperated because I was not feeling good. And it's a lot harder to recover when you're pushing 60 than it is when you're 17. The last time I had a tooth removed was when I was 17 in the military. So it's been a hot minute, as the old saying goes. I hope everyone is doing well this Saturday morning. I hope you're staying warm. And if you're in a warm climate, then, well, I'm not mad at you. You were smart enough to move somewhere warm. I like the cold, so I'm not complaining. Today's video du jour is part 2 of Mickey Barfield's Wasteland Saga. I did a little review yesterday. I was a little bit out of it. It was coming off the not painkillers, but I had hopped up on a bunch of aspirin and acetaminophen, and it just didn't sit well with me. And I was very foggy. Feel a lot better today. Had a good night's sleep. But I did this review. I didn't even do the outro, like my thanks for watching with the Mr. Mean logo on the end. I just ended the video and then I uploaded it. I was just done. So, but the video got some good comments and stuff. Everyone seems to enjoy it. A lot of people didn't know about this game. That's where I urge you to use Kickstarter in the means that it was meant to be used. I feel, my humble opinion, is that Kickstarter should be used not for Monty Cook, not for Fantasy Flight, well, they're not even around anymore, or Palladium, or any of the big publishers that can just produce a book when they want to. I love Pinnacle. I'm a big fan of Shane Hensley, yeah, and the whole crew over there, Clint Black and everybody, Wiggy, when he was doing a lot of work for them. I'm a big fan of Kickstarter and companies doing well, but I think Kickstarter gets abused by some big companies, and I've ranted about this in the past, so I'm not going to hash it out here. But this is what Kickstarter's for. This is the kind of thing that Kickstarter is for. This is a guy that lives and breathes in Florida. He has a daytime job. He's a dad. He's a husband. He works 40 plus hours a week, and he had this drive, this love to bring this world to life in a game that he play tested with his friends, and with their encouragement and his wife's encouragement and his daughter's encouragement, they brought this game to life. And it's a good game. Go check my review that I did yesterday. It's pretty awesome. For very simple, I mean, it's 116 pages. This is not, going to win any awards or anything like that. It's just a good game, percentage based. Go check my review. There's notes down in the doobly-doo. But I got some other things that were part of the Kickstarter, and I was super excited. This came in the mail as well. I'm sorry I bent the corner, Mickey. That's my fault. I was moving books and I put it down on the shelf and didn't realize that it got creased. I'm fastidious about my books. I hate any imperfections in them. But this is the Wastelander's Guidebook. What is this? Well, it's written by Mickey Barfield. If I don't lose the book. And this is literally, you've got your Wasteland Saga. You've got a little bit about the world. We talked about it yesterday. Where do you set your game? What do you do? As a GM, especially maybe even as a new GM, because I do think this is very new GM friendly game. But it's also veteran GM friendly as well, because we all have those ideas of a post-apocalyptic world and how we would do things. So it's a good game for beginners as well as veterans. But we all need a little help. Maybe you lived in your hometown your whole life, so you know it like the back of your hand. What a great place. And if you're playing locally with, an at-table game with your friends, then that's perfect. But what if you're going to a convention in another city? They don't know your town. They don't know your area, maybe. So you need a little help, and that's where the guidebook comes in. This thing is awesome. It is a whopping 68 pages. It does have an adventure in the back of it, Stolen Vitality, written by Mickey himself. So this is by Polyhedral Knights, by the way, if I didn't say. It's softback, glue bound. I'm assuming, I don't know if he got these printed in China or if it was printed by Drive-Thru RPG. I can't remember. I think it was Drive-Thru RPG. They were the fulfillment for the Kickstarter, which is awesome. There's no problems there. We'll talk about one when we get to the second book. But this book and Wasteland Sagas came together, and then I got the NPC book, which we'll talk about in a minute, yesterday in the mail. So, I did say I wanted to do a follow-up. I had a chance to look at this last night. This is basically just a book of locations, kind of generic locations. Remember, we're talking about an apocalypse. So everything, you can turn anything into an apocalyptic setting, just by removing power and internet. And, if you asked anybody that's under 30 right now, that would be apocalyptic. People over 30, in their 40s and 50s, the grognards like me, we'd be totally fine because I can live without TV. In fact, I listen to music 90% of the time, but I can survive even without music because as long as I've got a book, and I've got plenty of books, I'll be okay. But this is a great resource, even if you're not going to run Wasteland Sagas, if that's not your jam, if you don't like the art, if you don't like the percentage-based system. Say you're going to run Cyberpunk, or you're going to run Interface Zero would be another one where this would come in really handy. Any of your post-apocalyptic, any of your cyberpunk games where it's outside society and, there's like the no man's zone or whatever, this is a great resource. I'm recording a video. Sorry, my wife was yelling at me. She can't hear me down here. What's great about this is it's a great resource. It's generic enough that you can put it anywhere. I live in upstate Minnesota in Duluth, so there's areas anything in here I can use in my area because I have swamps here in Minnesota in Duluth. We have swampy, in the summertime we have the biomes that would support this. So you can use this pretty much anywhere you live and turn it into a wasteland. So there's some great faction. I don't want to say factions, but there's areas that will support certain factions. So a lot of the art is regurgitated from the Wasteland Sagas book, but some of it's new. It's really well done. It's simple. It's black and white art. I'm trying to find a good piece of art. I should have probably done this before. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here. There's a great piece of art right there. She's, that's your local store, STOR. So a lot of NPCs, a lot of locations. This is basically a location book, a setting book that details various locations that you would find in a somewhat apocalyptic setting, or not even somewhat, in an apocalyptic setting. There's also some bad guys. There's some bad areas, which is pretty cool. There's the Rancid Hole, which is basically just full of bad guys. And it reminds me of the scene from the Dave Bautista zombie movie that was just on, I think it was on Netflix, where they go to Las Vegas and there's the guy who escaped from the military as a super soldier, but he's a zombie. It kind of reminds me of that area. So you could it's just a really good, and a starting adventure is about 8 pages long with some NPCs and stuff in it. So it's a lot of good information in here. It references the locations in this book, but it's generic enough that you could use it for anything. So again, Polyhedral Knights, 68, I think, what did I say, 68 pages, black and white, softbound, generic enough you could use this in any. I could find uses for this. I could make this a hive in Imperium Maledictum. It would be good for that as well, because there's mutants in here, and of course, Warhammer 40K. If you're a Warhammer fan of the Imperium Maledictum or Rogue Trader or Inquisitor, you could use this in any of those types of games. So very useful as a GM book, just for basic ideas for locations and setting premises. I think it's a valuable asset to your GM library, especially if you like running apocalyptic games or hard sci-fi dystopian type games. This is going to be a really good asset for you. So I think it has more application than just for Wasteland Sagas. So that is the Wastelanders Guidebook. I highly recommend it, by Polyhedral Knights, available on DriveThruRPG. And use my affiliate link. The link is down in the doobly-doo, and that makes me a couple of pennies and doesn't cost you anything else, so you're helping the channel. So really appreciate that if you do that. Then the next thing I got yesterday in the mail, and I believe this was part of the Kickstarter reward, was the NPC, I'm sorry for the glare there, but I got a big light shining on me. This is the NPC Wastelander Saga supplement book. The printing on this came out wonky, and I'm not sure if this is a Kickstarter reward, I don't remember, or if Mickey just sent this to me for like review, or if this was like maybe his test copy, his proof, they call it. The printers will do a proof copy and send it to you. And I've got this white piece of paper here because I wanted to bookmark one of the things, and hopefully Mickey watches this and he sees this, but I got the book just like this, and I opened it and I saw this, and I unfolded it, and it's just where, I don't know what happened, the cutting didn't work out right or whatever, so I'll cut that off later. It's not that, it doesn't make the book unusable, and it's fine, but I just thought it was funny. It's the page got bent in, and then they cut it, and then you can see the cover is cut off. Let me put that back in there. The cover is cut off, and then in the back it's offset, so you can see the printing didn't work out very well, and their quality control people didn't cut it. But that being said, this is still useful because of the way the page layout is. None of the pages are cut off. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see none of the pages. That's the cut page there. None of the pages are cut off. You're not losing any material. This is just a book of good, bad, and neutral NPCs. It is a whopping, I think, 42 pages. Oh, no, excuse me, 35 pages long of just NPCs. So, again, percentage-based, but they give you a little bit of a write-up on them. They give you a name, and then, of course, all the stats for Wasteland Sagas, which is fine. But if it doesn't hurt to have a little book of NPCs close at hand. Even if you're running a fantasy game, this is a book that's going to serve you, because it'll give you an idea for some like ruffians or, you know, some thugs, whatever. You don't have to necessarily use the mechanics, but you can use the demeanor and the little bio that he gives each NPC. So very handy little book. Again, you know, 36 pages, I think. I just said it. I'm not that smart. 36 pages. Pocket. I mean, this is a pocket book. It'll fit in your breast pocket, you know. I love the cover. And this is, I mean, these three books, you've got everything you need to run Wasteland Sagas or Waste World. I was just talking with Rick Hall on Facebook. I posted a thing to reply to his. Waste World was written by the infamous Bill King, and it's a very dystopian, cyberpunkish, futuristic, Necromunda style Warhammer Imperium Maledictum type game with different factions on this world that's been quarantined because of its. Go back and check my review in the archives. But this would work for, this NPC book would work for that as well. And so all three of these books would work. Wasteland Saga, if you didn't want to use their system that's in Waste World, you could use this system and just take that world and port it in here. And I'm a big fan of doing that with a lot of games. Let's see here. Give me a second. Yeah, so just a treat. I mean, these two books are gonna add to your Wasteland Sagas game immensely. Also, I think they're good books to just have on your, if you're a GM of various games like I am, as you can see. These are going to be really helpful for just NPCs or for locations that you need, depending on if I'm running a low fantasy or a dystopian type game. And I run all kinds of games here on the channel. So tomorrow night is Fallout. So by Modifius. We've been having fun with that. We're getting back into the swing again. It's new year, new game, all that fun stuff. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Mickey. I backed his Kickstarter. I'm very happy that I did. The books are neat. It's a cool game. I don't want to say it's a beer and pretzel games. I think this could be an excellent campaign if you have a group of friends that are into the apocalyptic setting and you like, making something from nothing, because that's kind of what you have to do in this game, because technology is shot. There is cybernetics, there is BioWare, but obviously keeping that stuff up is going to be hard in an apocalyptic setting, especially when you don't have a big city or a town, and stuff like that. So those kind of things, if you're into that type of gaming, then this is going to be a fantastic setting for you and you're going to enjoy it. So just wanted to give a shout out to Mickey, Polyhedral Knights, for producing yet another awesome game. I can't think of Jay Lasarde's game from Feral Games Inc., The Ruin. This would also, oh my God, this would be so perfect for The Ruin. These two books just replace the mechanics of The Ruin for the mechanics in here for all your stats for your NPCs. But these would be very helpful if you wanted to run The Ruin, because that's another great post-apocalyptic setting. These would be very helpful. So again, cross-platform, very helpful if you're not into percentage-based systems, or you don't like necessarily the mechanics of Wasteland Sagas. You could import this stuff into The Ruin for Feral Games. So very cross-platform. In fact, I would love to see Jay and Mickey do something together, because I think their creative process is amazing between the two of them. I think they could come up with a great setting on top of the great settings that they've both already come up with, which is awesome. So I hope that gives you some more insight into Mickey's thinking and the gameplay for Wasteland Sagas. I might try to do a live play on the channel. If that's something you'd like to see, put a note down in the doobly-doo. And if you do want to see it, make sure you jump over to the Discord channel and you join up and let me know, hey, I want to play Wasteland Sagas. I'd be happy to get on here and run a little theater of the mind. It's not a terribly difficult system. We can make characters. There's a bunch of pre-gen characters. We could even use the NPCs in here because they're fleshed out enough that I think you could make good characters out of them. And there's plot hooks for all these guys, so you can come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you have to come up with stats. There's no stats in here. They're just NPCs and you just give them whatever stats you want. But there's plot seeds for each one of them, so very handily dandly. So even more useful, because there are no stats in this. You just throw it down with whatever game system you want to use, and you've got everything you need. So again, drop a note in the comments down below if this is something you'd like to see me run on the channel. I would like to give it a spin on the channel. I'm eagerly awaiting Jay Lasarde's Feral Games Inc.'s revision of Blood Iron, because I want to run a campaign of that on the channel. But I think we're going to see that after summer. I'm not quite sure when Jay's planning on releasing that. I could run it with the D6 system. I do like its D6 system. So, and I have the core book, and I have the supplements that were put out on Drive, that Jay released on Drive-Thru. So I could use some of that with this, although Blood Iron is a dark fantasy setting, but some of this would still work. But Jay really fleshed out that world a lot, but left it open where GMs can make their own for it. So really well done. If you haven't picked up yet, I'm a big fan of Feral Games Inc. But I'm becoming a large fan of Mickey Barfield's Polyhedral Knights. He did another game which is kind of like a pirate game, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's super cool. I do have a copy of that as well, and I really did like it. So yeah, if join the Discord, pop in, say hi. Leave a comment down below, thumbs up if you liked it, subs if you loved it. Really helps the algorithm. Post a comment if this is something you're thinking about picking up. And if you do want to pick it up, of course, you can get it on DriveThruRPG. My affiliate link is in the show notes there right below the video, so make sure you use that. It really does help the channel, helps me keep the costs down. Believe it or not, running a YouTube channel is not cheap. Anything that you can do helps. You can also support the channel with Ko-Fi if you don't like the Patreon model. I'm also on Patreon, so you can help there. $5 a month. I don't plan on raising the cost any because I don't think I provide enough to charge more. But giving you a distinct identifier on Discord lets everybody know that you are a supporter of the channel, and I think that's cool. And every once in a while I send out, I do drawings and stuff for freebies and things like that, and I send out stickers every so often, so, or keychains or whatever. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming in the new year. I want to get some more videos out. I've got a lot of games on here that I have not reviewed yet, so I want to definitely take time to do that. I'm not going to be reviewing a lot of PDFs just because it doesn't work. I have bad eyesight, and so in order to make it visible on the screen and everything for you guys, it would just be, it's not an easy process. So I hate to say that because I don't want to cost publishers or designers money. I hate to think that I'm taking money out of their mouth, but I just can't. It's hard for me to review a PDF copy unless I just read it on my iPad, blow it up, read it, and then just talk to you on a camera. But I feel that's a disservice to you guys for not being able to show you. But then I have a hard time reading it because I have to blow it up so big, and then it's a nightmare. So I prefer physical books. So obviously, if you want me to review your stuff, send me a physical copy. I hate to be cheesy, but it's just easier for me to review and allows me to give you a better review. This Mickey didn't send to me. I did kickstart this. I paid my money to get this, which is awesome. I'm super excited that I got it. I'm very happy to add it to my collection. So like I was saying, you can support me on Ko-Fi. There's links down in the doobly-doo. You can support me on Patreon. You can support me on DriveThruRPG. I'm on Facebook and MeWe. And of course Discord. So I think that's all I've got to say. I've rambled on enough. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I hope you guys found it interesting, and let me know if you're playing Wasteland Sagas. If you want to play it, hit me up on the Discord, and there's a link to join the Discord, a permalink. Let me know if you have any problems. I read all the notes on the channel, on the YouTube channel, so if you have a hard time getting in, send me a message through Facebook or YouTube or MeWe. I will get to it, and I will send you a personal link if that's what needs to happen. Would love to have you on the Discord. We have a lot of cool gamers, designers, people that are in the industry, layout help. If you're a budding game designer yourself and you need some help, we have the Help Pub channel, which is help publishers, some guys that are doing some phenomenal work on games, and we'd love to have you. So come join a very positive community, and let's roll some dice and tell some stories. So as always, peace and hair grease. Remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice, and I'll catch you in the next one.